I still don't have all the information. They will not give it to me just in case for spoilers. Like, I will probably see the show exactly the same time as everybody else does. It's kind of wild to like be a part of one of the biggest projects of my life and be told like, say nothing, see nothing, do nothing. I'm like, really? Okay, cool. I was taking pictures and video of myself, like throwing on my costume for the first time, and I'm literally doing jumping jacks. But I had to like kind of just have it in my body. I think as a fan of the character, it just felt so exciting to be dressed as Ahsoka, but in a new costume and a new look. And knowing we were establishing that and that the story was continuing, because that's just, as a fan, I want more. So it's just exciting to be a part of that.
You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
I've always loved her confidence and her capability. I love what an incredible, fierce, passionate, true, loyal being she is. Like there's something so consistent about her. But that doesn't mean that it's not tried, it's not challenged, it's not provoked, that she's not had sacrifice. Like we've just been able to grow up with her. She's such an expert, she's such a master. And to see her get better and better, I think that's so interesting when someone is so talented and so skilled and so expert, and you can still see that they have levels to go to. You know, like when you look at someone who's capable and you're like, okay, that's it, and you move on. And I think there's something so remarkable about being able to see through that and know that you can ask for more, that you can push it further. And that's what's required of a warrior like her. But seeing her grapple with that, because, you know, even with these like Jedi tales that came out and you see her origin story as a little baby, how force sensitive she was at such a young age, and the power of it actually really was really to see her family, her community, her mom, her dad, and these animals and creatures around her all kind of surrender to it, like not truly acknowledge it, is so powerful. And to imagine experiencing that at such a young age, her whole life, where people are looking at her knowing she's special, and that she's never taken that for granted, and that it's never been, well, you've got that, and that doesn't mean you can get to higher heights. I think, you know, my namesake, my tia Rosario, I remember before she passed, she had told me I was 19. I flew myself out from Chicago. I was filming Light It Up with Usher and Vanessa Williams. I flew my mom out from New York, and I flew my grandmother out from South Carolina to go down to Puerto Rico so we could be with her before she passed. And my tia Rosario was the one in my family who was a little better off, and she had taken care of my grandmother because of that, because my grandmother was sickly when she was younger and she couldn't stay with her siblings and her mom. She could see directly to me, my tia Rosario, being like, I see you following that same path as the one who can take care and is like leaned on early on. I was only 19 and I was already shouldering a lot of the bills and responsibilities. And she was like, I just want you to know, Rosario, that your prayers are no less answered by God, that it is okay for you to ask for more, even if you already have more than the people around you. Like, do not curb your desires, your passions, your whatever it is, and acknowledge that, and know that before God that's okay, that, you know, you can have that relationship with God too. And there's something about that I think of, interestingly, probably like no other character I've played before with her. We're just knowing that push for more, that desire for more, that challenge that she pushes herself to is okay. And that it's actually remarkable and important. And I think that's one of the things I've been drawn to her over the years, is the fact that even with her excellence, she continues to push it further.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one.
to be ambidextrous is a real, like, it's really interesting. Like you're working with one arm, but this other one is like, that was a constant thing of like making sure where's the other arm going as this is perfect, but then this one is, and it's very specific about just like where. So I would do these. I remember I worked out this thing with Caitlin, who was my stunt woman on Mandalorian. And she lives in Georgia and was filming there. And when I was filming Haunted Mansion, I started training with her early. And then I would work with her on the weekends while we filmed. And so this way I could do 7-day weeks, because I was just like, I just want to keep training. I don't want to get it out of my body. I am not a workouty person. I'm not that kind of thing. So I really I don't want to lag at all. And so it was great. So we worked out like some of our like exercises and things of just like doing things to keep my shoulders up, my arms at certain levels, because it's just not a natural position to come up to here all the time. These positions have to feel really organic to her. And it's also hard because we're basing this off of an animation. So you've never seen her kind of confined to the abilities of a human being. It was really fun to figure it out, discover it, to play with it, to have it in our bodies, and to work against different people and, speeds and energies and heights and power. And I think about Ray, I miss Ray. It's terrible to not be able to share this moment with him, because there were moments where I was like fighting for my life and being like, Ray, like, we're not really battling to the death right now, right? This, we're playing characters, it was very heavy handed, and he gave so much to it. And it was remarkable, like this fight that you've done over and over and over again. And it keeps you very present. He's magnificent, like just proper alpha male, huge, like stature, tall, big. I'm just so grateful that we had Star Wars Celebration together. We all got to see him talk about this role, and he got to feel that from the fans. It moved all of us to be able to see that kind of reaction. And the Star Wars family is really that, very much a family. And I'm just grateful Ray gets to be a part of it. Sadly, if this is the final role, then it's a magnificent one. He did a brilliant job. It was incredible to work with him every day. He was a delight, a joy, a beauty, a love. And I think people are going to be really, really excited about what he brought to this.
Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings. Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain.
It took us 3 hours just for the makeup. But we got it down to about like an hour and a half. And so that's tough, like we're going in at like 4 something in the morning every day so that we can be ready when the crew's there at 6 and have a full day, and then still have like at least a half an hour and taking all of it off. And it sprays on with alcohol, so it can be really harsh on the skin. And there was, we figured out some stuff because my arms, everything, I was starting getting really, really dry. My skin was, was kind of going through. So we just kind of kept adjusting. And I think that's just been happening over these past years. The montrals are longer, the exoskeleton that they built, the skeleton, that they built inside is just unbelievable. It's all 3D printed. It moves completely differently. It feels different. It's lighter. But that technology literally didn't exist when we were first doing the character in Mando season 2. So it's just been really cool to see how it keeps evolving. And so it's the timing, it's the makeup, it's all the things. Like we have discovered a lot of stuff. Like when we're shooting on the volume versus filming outside, my skin tone turns into a completely different color. So we have to do different kind of paint shades to kind of make it be able to match and blend between those different spaces, because the blue light and stuff from the screens is very different, obviously, than the actual natural light. So it's just like, okay, wow, I looked really good in the light, but I'm neon now. Let's figure that out. It's been really fun working with all of the different departments, including the wardrobe, because we create this incredible look, but then I can't physically fight the person in front of me because I don't have full lateral movements of my arms or something, so it was just really great. And I think the well-oiled machine that is Star Wars at this point, because of all of the shows and how these are people who know each other deeply, and their families and their friendships. They're spending time, they're going to Disneyland on the weekends, they're tattooed in Star Wars, like they're living and breathing it, but they're also just like really commiserating in a way that you don't always get on a project, because every department can kind of be siloed from themselves. And on this one, there's so much happening at all times, and especially jumping from the episodes. It's just great to be a part of a team that's been working together now so brilliantly for the past few years, and to actually be in the volume and see it, to actually have buttons and switches like you do all over the ships and stuff. Like, it's just, it feels wonderful that we're all seeing the same thing and we can work with it in the same way and we can build on it. And it's not just in our imagination and coming later. It's dazzling to imagine that we shot this in a tiny room, literally the exact same room that I filmed Jane the Virgin in, by the way. We're on the exact stage that I was filming all my scenes with Petra, Brooks, Shields, everybody was on for 5 years. They moved out and Star Wars moved in. And now I'm in there and shooting in this tiny little room still. I mean, it's a stage, but technically, and it looks like just the depth and space and breadth of Star Wars. Like, it just is, it's stunning. It's stunning every day. And there's literally folks on the side of every day that we're filming with all their computers setting up, doing the special effects and editing every single day while we're filming. Like, it's just 24/7. It's amazing.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
I'm probably the most anxious that I've ever been in my entire career over the reception of this, which I felt at different stages when Mando and Boba Fett came out, but it's really different thing to come onto a character I felt that maybe a little bit in Rent, maybe a little bit even in Sin City, but when you're playing a character that has been so special for so many fans for so many years in such a particular way, it's definitely intense, kind of approaching it with a new kind of perspective. But I really, really hope that the fans love it, because, that means we A, get to do more, but B, it means that we've honored the legacy of this character and this journey. And I know that's what we intended to do. I'm going to be watching those fan reactions, because that was amazing to watch on Mando. And I really am hoping that that is the same experience people have watching this. Whatever comes next, if more comes next, I'd be really excited and grateful, because I feel like every time I get to step into her shoes, I learn more, I experience what I could never experience otherwise, and I get better. I feel like I keep getting better. It keeps landing in my body. And so I'd love that opportunity to keep exploring.